beautiful friends. I hope you are having a swell, fantastic day. If you can't tell by now, I love using the word swell. Today I'm going to talk about encouragement, which you probably guessed from the title of this video, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Before I actually get started talking about encouragement, I just want to say something really quick. Cannot believe the feedback and comments and encouraging words that I got from people after I posted like my promotional video or whatever. You guys are so amazing. It's so nice to know that I have people who are supporting me and who are willing to help me figure this whole technology business out. Thank you so much for everything that you said. And thank you to everyone who took time out of their day to watch me talk about something I was going to do in the future. Thank you! So I just wanted to start my video by saying that. And I wanted to start with that because those things really encouraged me. And this video is about encouragement, so I thought it was fitting. Now, encouragement is a really big thing. Without encouraging each other, we'd just kind of be like these self-esteem less things that are sad and we don't think anything of ourselves. Depressed. Encourage people, okay? You can do anything to encourage someone. But in this video I'm going to talk about three things that I think are good ways to encourage people. And they don't have to be like big extravagant things. Like, people are encouraged by little stuff too. Just go tell someone they're beautiful, or that you like their outfit, or that they're a good singer, that they're good at weaving baskets. Anything. Just go. Encourage. All encouragement is good, but encouraging someone with their walk with Christ is even more special and meaningful because that's eternal. When you compliment someone on their looks, it's just kind of a temporary thing. When we die, we're not gonna be worried about how we look anymore. When you focus on the spiritual side of it, encouraging them in that way lasts for eternity. This is definitely something God wants us to do because He talks about it quite a bit. Well, I'm just going to share a few places where He talks about it. In 1 Thessalonians 5:11, it says, "Therefore encourage one another and build one another up, just as you are doing." Hebrews 10:23-25 says, "Let us hold fast the confessions of our hope, without wavering, and let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near." 1 Peter 4:8-9 says, "Above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love covers a multitude of sins. Show hospitality to one another without grumbling. As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace." Here's some references to some more verses that talk about encouragement. Ephesians 4:29, Galatians 6:2, Ecclesiastes 4:9-12, 1 Thessalonians 5:14, and the list just goes on and on. Obviously, God wants us to encourage one another, or we wouldn't have those many verses just on encouragement. We as Christians, are constantly pouring out into people. It's just part of being a Christian, and it's great. Just let me say, it's great. But it can also be tiring. Constantly being filled and pouring out, it can wear you out sometimes. And sometimes we're afraid to pour out into other people because we're afraid we might not get filled up again. Let me just tell you that God always fills you back up. He will use you in wonderful ways, and He will never give you more than you can bear. And He will always be there to help you. Along those same lines of having fear, something that may hold you back from giving someone encouragement is fear of man. You may, if you're like me, think of nice things to say to people. Oh, she looks really good today, I should tell her. And then you do nothing. Why is this? It's because of fear of man. We're scared what people will say. Maybe you don't get along with this person very well, and you're scared what might happen if you say something. Whenever you feel that fear, just remember Matthew 10:33. And remember Moses and how he made the excuse to God that I'm not a good speaker, God. I'm not suited to go talk to Pharaoh about freeing your people. And see what a good job he did. It wasn't really him. It was all God. He'd tell you that if he could. Also remember, God turns nobodies into somebodies. He says, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is perfected in weakness. We have to be willing to admit that we are weak so that God's strength can be seen through us. That can be shown in God giving you the strength and the courage to go encourage someone that you didn't think you'd be able to before. But encouraging people through words is not the only way to encourage them. There are actually a few different ways to encourage people. The first one being encourage them through your life. There are tons of women who encouraged me just from me looking at how they lived. Amy Carmichael, Elizabeth Elliot, Ruth, my mother. All of these women live for Christ. They live as light. And seeing that encourages me, and it gives me strength and hope and inspires me. Let your everything, your standing up, your lying down, your eating and your drinking, be to the glory of God. The second way you can encourage people through spiritually is by praying for them. There's actually a second part to this, and that's the part that really encourages people, is not only pray for people, but then tell them you're praying for them. If you can tell them specifically what you're praying for them, that will make it even better and more encouraging. Side note, don't lie about praying for someone, because it can cause problems, and you're lying, and it can just create awkward situations. Say I go up to someone and I'm like, hey, I've been praying for you, and then they're like, oh, thank you so much, that's so encouraging to me. What have you been praying for me about? Well, well, you see, I've been praying for life. Yeah. Or it could go differently. Hey, I've been praying for you. Oh, that's so kind. What have you been praying about? Well, I've been praying that God would help you make that decision that you have coming up, and that test that you have, that you'd score well and have a clear mind, and that your grandmother would recover from the hospital quickly, and that she'll be stronger than ever. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet, and I'm so encouraged. Thank you so much. Yeah. One way I personally try to encourage my friends, my 3 best friends, every morning before I get up and start the day, I will wake up and I will pray for each one of them. They actually don't know this, so they're about to find out. I'll pray for each one of them, and then I will text them a Bible verse every morning. They might get annoyed by that, but I do it anyways. Sometimes I'll personally hand pick a verse to send to them. Sometimes I send them all the same verse. Actually, a lot of the times I do that. But when I have a little more time in the morning, then I'll think about the situation that they're in, and I'll look for a verse that I think would help them in that situation. Whenever someone texts me a verse, I'm just like, thank you. Okay, what really encourages me is when one of them texts me back and is like, that was great. You want to talk about what that verse means? Yes! So that really encourages me. Like, encouraging other people encourages me in ways. Now, the last suggestion I have of a way for encouraging people is by sharing your testimony with them. Hearing a testimony is always so very encouraging. It's amazing to see how differently God works in different situations for different people. It's just amazing. And sharing your testimony is an extraordinary way to encourage people. Also, sharing your stories about witnessing is also pretty encouraging. Testimony and witnessing. The reason I wanted to do encouragement as my first official video is because encouraging people is the main reason I'm doing this. I want to encourage you to live every day for Christ, and like nothing else matters but Him. Live as a light for the gospel in this dark world. So in closing, let me give you this proverb from Proverbs 12:25. Anxiety weighs on a man's heart, but a kind word cheers him up. And I'm going to leave you all with a challenge that I myself am going grammar for you, that I myself am going to undertake. Go out today and encourage someone. It doesn't even have to be someone you know. Just find a stranger and say, hey, you look great. Go to the grocery store. Go up to the person behind the register and say, you're a really hard worker and I appreciate you. Here's a really good one, okay? Go to your parents and say thank you. Your parents do so much and are so underappreciated. Go up to them and encourage them in some way. Yeah, do that, please. I challenge you. You are challenged. So just go out and be a light. Shine. Be a light and shine for Christ. I'm gonna say that so much. You are swell and beautiful and wonderful people, and I know you're gonna be great at encouraging with my tips. I'll be praying for you. And please, if you have any stories about how you encourage someone, or just encouraging thoughts, or prayers, or anything, really, comment them. I would be totally interested. And I would absolutely love to hear any stories that you have about, like, going out and encouraging someone. It would be so encouraging to me if you had any of those stories and would comment them. I hope this video was not totally boring and that you were encouraged in some way or another. And if not, I've totally failed. But if you have, yay! Have a swell day! Go be encouraging. I challenged you. Okay. Bye, guys. I don't want to say anyways. Cut that out, me. Future me, cut that out of the video. Counting on you. Sorry. Someone just Snapchatted me. It's distracting.